Okay, welcome to the annual Public Safety Forum for Cupertino. We're very excited to have all of you. I am Eric. I am the chair of the Public Safety Commission. And to kick things off, I'm going to introduce or invite Mayor Hung Wei up to give some opening remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 2023 Cupertino City's Public Safety Forum. I would like to acknowledge my fellow City Council members who are here. I know a lot of them are here. So Vice Mayor Sheila Mohan is right here. And Councilmember J.R. Froome is here. I do see Councilmember Katie Moore, who is here. There we go, right here. Do we have Councilmember Chow? She's not here yet? Okay, so we have 4 of the 5 council members here, so they're very supportive of this public safety forum. You know, public safety isn't merely a concept. It's actually a promise to do everything we could to ensure the well-being of our community. Our community is comprised of our residents, our businesses, and visitors. The very heart of this promise is comprised of partnerships. We don't do anything alone. With partnership together, we can really take care of our public safety. So today, we're here. There are a lot of information booths out there, and I want to thank the Cupertino Office of Emergency Management, Tom Ching right there. Thank you very much, Tom, for putting this together. And also, very important, our Public Safety Commission for hosting today's mission. Eric is our chair for our Public Safety Commission. Are you going to introduce everyone later, or can we do it right now? Let's do it right now. Introduce your fellow commissioners. Come on up.
Well, okay, so we have all of our commissioners here. So do you want to stand, Commissioner Bobby Tode? Tiffany, Commissioner Tiffany Wang, do you want? And last but not least, we're missing one, but.
Thank you, Eric. Our volunteers, including our commissioners, our block leaders, our emergency watch program comprised of Citizens Corps, these are our true resident first responders. The members in our community have taken it upon themselves to really show the responsibility of keeping our neighborhoods and our city informed, alert, and as a result, safe. We cannot do this without our volunteers. So thank you very much. And we have block leaders here. Can you stand up? Be recognized. Thank you very much. And our neighborhood watch program, please stand up. Continue to stand up. Very good. And also our Citizens Corp. Thank you so much. You are the ones who keep our city together, alert us, and make us a safe place. The Public Safety Forum has long served as an opportunity for our community to engage in conversations with our public safety agencies and the ability to interact face-to-face with our residents and also our public safety agencies. The knowledge and understanding of a safe and strong Cupertino is very important for our community to establish our public safety on. I would like to also offer special thanks tonight to sponsors of this event. I think we have enjoyed some good appetizers out there, some drinks. There are local businesses, Pineapple Thai. Do we have a representative from Pineapple Thai here? No? Okay. And then Starbucks at Stevens Creek and Pasadena. How did Pasadena get into our community? Which is very good, okay? And for the beverages and delicious appetizers. Your support of a safe and informed City of Cupertino is deeply appreciated. And also thanks to the Cupertino Chamber of Commerce and the city's Economic Development Department for supporting our local businesses. Finally, I will hand this over to members of a Public Safety Commission who advise the council on all areas relating to public safety and many other items that serve such an important role in helping us keep our community safe and prepared for emergencies. We're grateful for their service to the City of Cupertino. Thank you for all for attending today's forum. I hope you leave this forum feeling that you are more informed, confident, and connected to your neighbors, first responders, and partners in public safety. Representing City of Cupertino and my fellow council members, I thank you for coming, and let's learn together. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Wei, for your opening remarks, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Public Safety Commissioner Bobby Toda, and my wife and I have been residents of Cupertino since 1973. Sounds like a long time ago. Linda has had the pleasure, actually, of working with Mayor Wei on the Monte Vista High PTA board. And before that, before helping here, I worked for many years as a product designer and executive in Silicon Valley. I would be in trouble with my wife if I didn't mention that next Thursday is Hidden Treasures at the Senior Center, since she's the jewelry chair this year. I began service to Cupertino as a member of Cupertino CERT in 2006, and I recently joined the CARES team as well. I began my first term as Public Safety Commission earlier this year in February. And one of my roles, I'm also a large volunteer in scouting, Boy Scouting, and one of my roles is being a assessment officer at our summer camps. So I've been a scout since I was a youth, so I grew up practicing being prepared and worrying about safety. Last month, Cupertino had our first Cupertino Cybersecurity Science Fair at the community hall. There were several entrants from our local high schools. It is fitting that this month is Cybersecurity Month and having the winning team present. The winning team is CyberQuest. CyberQuest is an initiative driven by a small group of ambitious Cupertino High School students, unified by a shared passion for addressing the shared issues of cybersecurity and scam awareness. Their organization aims to revolutionize the way people approach online safety. They have harnessed the power of augmented reality and gamification to create immersive and interactive learning experiences that captivate and educate. Their commitment is to make the digital world more secure, and their unique approach seeks to empower individuals of all ages by enhancing their understanding of online threats. Cybersecurity team, please join me.
Thank you so much, everyone. We're so excited to be here today. Just a fun fact, even today, a district member at our FUHSD board was hacked and sent a scam email to 500 different students about a fake job opportunity. And a lot of our students lost their personal information. And this just emphasizes how important cybersecurity is in our community.
So we would like to show you our product here, which promotes about cybersecurity education as well as scam awareness.
So as you can see right now, Winfred's getting ready to set up the demo.
Try to collect as many stars as possible by learning about cybersecurity.
All right, so basically you can see a medieval game that's
Hello,
designed
help
to
me defend my castle by
bring
zombies.
gamification aspect to people of all ages, and that's how we're going to provide a more immersive learning experience for people.
Answer questions about cybersecurity to defend the castle. The zombies are coming.
Yeah, those are the enemies. So as you can see on the screen, there are two links, and the user has to determine which link is the safer link. So, yeah, as the audience, we'd like you to help us.
Right one?
All right.
Right one? Okay.
Yeah, good job.
Good job. Now answer a question about password creation.
So
So the second topic our program covers is password creation and how to create a strong password. So we'd like to take the input from the audience again. Which password do you guys think is safer? Right? Which one? Right. Nice. So you selected the correct answer, and therefore now we have made a wall for a new secure defense.
Next challenge. Check the header of a potential scam email.
Okay, so now this is our email legitimacy checking segment. So here, this is a typical email that you can expect to receive just by actually using any online platform that utilizes accounts. In this situation, we have GitHub, and it is email that is allegedly asking you to change your password. So now let's check the confirmation and go through good practices to check if this is a legitimate email. So first thing we would want to do is open the hamburger menu by pressing the 3 dots in the corner. And the next step is to press show original, which is going to show the original domain, that is the sender. Now we can see here that this is the official GitHub domain, therefore it is trustworthy, and we should accept the password change.
So as you can see, another thing we test here is seeing when a user gets a message from a source, and in this case it's unknown, the user is tested to see if it's safe or not. So as the audience, we'd like you to see if it's safe or not. Like, what do you guys think?
Which one is straight? Should I move left to ignore this message, or should I move right to click the link that says passreset.com? Ignore it? Okay. Yay! So now we went through a short journey to learn about cybersecurity, and on the way we have helped the knight defend his castle from the zombies. If you guys would like to try this game, you guys can go to our booth during the presentation section of this public safety forum, and you guys can learn more about our product, which we'll be launching soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you have any questions for our CyberQuest team, you can come up to the middle where there's a microphone at the stand. You can ask your questions there. If you need any help getting to the front, we do have floating mics if needed. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks again, CyberQuest team. It's off? It's on now? Thanks again, CyberQuest team. It's a very engaging and fun way to learn about cybersecurity. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of this in the future and seeing what young people like you are going to innovate on in the future. So my name is Tiffany Wang. I am Vice Chair of the Public Safety Commission. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'm here to introduce Deputy Chief Estrada. As a 27-year fire service veteran, Hector Estrada serves as the Deputy Chief of Fire Prevention at Santa Clara County Fire Department. Chief Estrada oversees community education and risk reduction services, fire code inspections and enforcement, fire investigation and hazardous material programs, and fire protection engineering functions, including plan review. Chief Estrada's accomplishments include development of technology-based solutions, such as the recent implementation of the new RMS image trend to conduct business and property inspections using an iPad-based app. Through coaching and mentoring, Chief Estrada also promotes career growth of fire service professionals at all levels and initiated County Fire's first Leadership Academy in 2021. Chief Estrada worked in the private sector and as a business owner, where he developed his passion for project and change management to improve customer service process efficiencies, and workforce productivity. Please give a warm welcome to Deputy Chief Estrada.
So for those of you that actually know me, your truth triggers are probably going off right now. Just wanted to say thank you to, well, first of all, Cupertino. How's that? No? Test? Okay, so I'll start over. I wanted to thank you for having me here to speak. I know that one of the things that we try to do in the Public Safety Commission is to raise awareness of different situations that might exist, tools. It happens to be a passion of mine, and I really do enjoy providing new solutions or just awareness when it comes down to what is available to help pretty much just about anyone. There's no audience that's too small or too big. So once again, my name is Hector Estrada. I'm the Deputy Chief of Fire Prevention for Santa Clara County Fire. I oversee the Fire Prevention Division and am a member of the executive management team. And I'm talking to you today about text to 911. I'm just curious to start out with, how many of you actually know that text to 911 is a function that is available for you right now? Good. So my goals in talking to you today really aren't to tell you that it exists. I just want to try to raise awareness. So first goal would be walking away tonight, you actually know a little bit more about text to 911, what it is, what it isn't, how to use it, and hopefully a little bit of info to help you decide when you should be using something like that as an option. And then also, if this could initiate some thought into who might actually benefit, your friend or family group, you might have people that this would be a really good tool for them to know how to use. And then when they do use it, how to use it effectively. And finally, most importantly, in addition to the functionality, because it has been around for a little bit, I think that some of the basic, we know how to text, but what does it not do? What is it not for, in addition to the things that we actually have this tool for? The reason that I'm here speaking is County Com, communication centers, and I'll refer to the one that serves Cupertino as County Com. They're everywhere. So throughout, you'll be going in and out of an area, and based on where you are, especially if you're using a cell phone, it'll figure out, based on your location, who is the best, closest resource to assign to you and route your call. So just keep in mind that this is a very fluid environment. So I'll use generic terms. I'll be referring to communications, dispatchers, or call takers, but effectively, it's the system in which your calls come in, they evaluate what you need, and then basically route you to the right resource. County Com takes care of quite a bit of, they have a huge area. So it's unincorporated Santa Clara County, which includes for law enforcement, the sheriffs. For fire, it's us in Cupertino. EMS, so if you need an ambulance. It also covers county parks, corrections, transport, as well as West Valley Mission College and transportation agencies. So they take an incredible number of calls with a wide variety. We just happen to have a connection with them because they are on the same management team as we are. So because of that dependency, this is why I'm here talking to you about text to 911. So who is text to 911 intended to benefit or be used by? So hearing or speech impaired traditionally has been the audience for these types of tools. But if you think about it, it's the evolution, the next step from TTY. TTY has been around for quite a long time, and this leverages what's going on in cell technology, the infrastructure that's already built out, so it allows us to basically take this to the next level and use the devices that you have in order to locate and then communicate. Next, we are all aware of situations that currently exist. The world is becoming, the diversity of the dangers and the situations that we're encountering now really necessitate the ability to be discreet sometimes. And in a situation where you can't or make noise or don't want to call attention to yourself, this is an excellent tool to be using. It can also be used in a situation where a person has been abducted or taken against their will. It also will help someone who's in an area where a cell doesn't actually work, but text does. So I know that I have a lot of areas, I live in the mountains, so whether I usually rely on text quite a bit, so that might be a situation that you want to keep this tool in mind. And then finally, any reason that you're having, medical or otherwise, so it could be environmental or it could be medical, but if you don't have the ability to speak, then this would be a situation where you'd want to use text to 911. But in addition to that, sometimes you're in very high noise environments. That would be an area where you can actually, you don't have to worry about the noise. You will have to start communicating through text, and you'll have to do a little bit more work in order to make that happen. So I'll talk a little bit about who texts to 911 or how it works. So to provide you a little bit of context into what's going on in the dispatch center, if you can imagine that the dispatchers are dealing with a different workflow. So they switch the tools they're using, so there's a little bit more work on their side. They get an extraordinary number of calls. They're very good at what they do. They still get a pretty good volume, but it's such a small percentage that's coming in to text. So doing that little context switch, coming over and starting to work, it's going to take a little bit more time. And then taking into consideration, you're going to be able to get a lot out of a voice call. Background noise, the conditions that the person's in, maybe some things that will tell you kind of where they are. You're going to have to validate or verify information for the dispatcher. So expect to be more descriptive based on where you are or confirming. So you'll have to be a different type of call reporter. And once again, the tool does identify you or identify your location, but once again, if you have loud noise, you're near the airport, it'll be evident that you're in an area like that, or you might be somewhere where it's easy to tell that you're in a certain environment. These are not going to be clues for the dispatcher to actually cue on and know exactly where you are. So with that, you'll get painted or you'll get located just like you normally do on your apps, and it'll say there's a bubble here and you're somewhere in that bubble. But knowing where you are, and even if you're not on the ground floor, the app does have a radius, and it tells the dispatcher what kind of certainty or how big that little bubble is, and it does refine. But it'll also tell you that they're 40 feet above grade. So that doesn't tell you whether it's a third floor, fifth floor, or whatnot. So keep in mind, you may have to identify what floor you're on. You might have to tell them if it's a unit, the right unit number. So knowing where you are is a really important feature here. All right, so a little background. We've had text to 911 at County Com for about 3 years now. So this has allowed us to understand the workflow, get used to it, and then basically figure out kind of work through those problems and that did exist, and really make the migration to where we are. So there have been some changes. There have been different corrections, and when we moved this last month, so in September, a new CAD system came into play. The old CAD system was purchased in the mid-'70s. So if you can imagine the amount of technology change that's occurred. So functionality, how it works, how fast, how well it works, and how it integrates with current tools. There have been a lot of changes, and that was as of September. So the staff, or the communications staff, was trained. They understand and know how to use this tool, and they are actually using it now. So with that, there's been an incredible improvement in the way text to 911 works. And it has affected the accuracy of your locations. It refreshes more frequently. And then also the functionality and the things that are shared have been increased as well. Oops. Did I press that one? Okay, so So now what does it look like when you actually, I'm going to put that down. So what does it look like? So the actual, the first thing you need to know is that it really doesn't matter where you are. If you're in an area that has cell service, especially a place like Santa Clara County, every dispatch center has the text to 911 feature, as well as being able to receive calls and routed correctly from cell phones. It's much different and much better than it used to be. So you can rely on this tool and know that it's there. Second, the standard, so you're still within your own text mode, so there's really nothing to learn. You're going to basically still text in the normal ways. It's still your own interface, and you shouldn't have any issues in being able to communicate that way. Another feature that's actually new is that there are a number of languages that are now supported. So the number of languages that are supported, they automatically translate for you. So if you're more comfortable, and I would say, how many of you, if you think about it, how many of you have friends or family that are more comfortable in a language other than English? Well, this wouldn't be a barrier for them. I'd also like to make sure that you understand one other thing is, we always want you to call if you can, but text if you can't. So that means that for the translation services, for you to know how it works both ways, you will get on a live call or voice call a translator that gets pulled into the conversation. They'll be able to go back and forth in a three-way conversation and be able to interact with you, much like you would on a medical call or another call that you would potentially have been on in yourselves. So it's better, easier to understand and know what a person's saying, what they're expressing, getting all the information in a live conversation. But on the text, there is no third person. What it is the system doing the translation. So with that, you'll want to make sure that you're very clear, and you will know that there are quite a few languages that are supported. And location capabilities are basically in a two-phase process. You will get an initial swipe, and then every 30 seconds it'll update. So the circle gets smaller and smaller. So I'll go into translation and location a little bit more, because I think they're really important features. If there's a barrier to a person wanting or trusting the technology, hopefully this will allow you to just accept it and consider it as an actual option for you. So I wouldn't try to count them. I don't know that you can read them, but I did work with Tom a little bit, and we went through and validated that quite a few of the languages that are spoken in Cupertino are covered here. There's a total of 68 languages that are supported, and you just text it, it'll translate it, and then the dispatcher will see it, and actually both of you will see both sides of the conversation. That means that whatever you text in whatever language, as long as it's supported, you'll see it to make sure you got it right, and then you'll see the translation for the dispatcher. The dispatcher will then respond, and then both will appear for the dispatcher as well. So the whole conversation in both languages will be there for the dispatcher and you. And this is what the dispatcher would see. This is a representation from not Cupertino, but the very first thing that they'll get once they pull the call in out of the queue is they'll get your location on a map. That will go off of the cell site that you're closest to. And then either by initiating it, they can get another swipe at it in a refresh. They'll just re-pull for it. You will get an even smaller location that basically starts to locate you a little bit more precisely. And then they will get the within 3 meters, within 10 meters. So I've seen the screenshots of this, and it also, once again, tells you how high up they are. So you will want to do a few things. I wanted to make, oops, I know what's going on. I'm touching this one. So for those languages, this will be available. You can double check time will, I think it's going to be posted, but you can check to see if the languages that are important for you are there, and then you could know that this is actually a tool for you. Then I would say anybody that you know, talk to them, let them know how it works, but do not test it. This is an actual 911 call. So just feel confident that it does work. It is active, and if for some reason it's not available, it'll probably be related to your cell phone or the cell coverage that you're in the area that you're in. And there's also one other device or one other feature that you might decide to look into. I know that smartphones allow you to put in additional information about you. That comes through too. So if it lists your conditions, your meds, a lot of people are reluctant to share or put that information anywhere. So know that if you elect to do or fill those out, it will come through on this system. And that's for any call, including text to 911. You do have to opt in for that as well. So currently, no pictures or videos are supported. So don't try it. It does work while you're roaming. And I'll have to say that I learned a lot when I was getting ready to share this with you, because the functionality, there were a lot of questions that I had. And I've been a first responder for quite a long time. And getting information, getting good information, and getting it in a timely manner is so important to really just the outcomes that we're able to be part of. But it's really getting good information. So I was really impressed and surprised to see some of the tools' capabilities. Now some advice. What do you do if you are texting? First, keep your text short. If you keep them nice and short, you don't have problems with autocorrect. But the first things that you want to send your location and who you need. I'm at the corner or I'm at 2222 Stevens Creek Boulevard. Send fire. That's effectively what you would be looking for in that first message. That tells us exactly who to get queued up to go out. It tells you the location, so that as long as it's coming in consistently, they'll actually be able to verify it. And then next, there are a number of questions you'll be asked. Answer the questions. And then with that, they will also probably give you direction. Do this, go to the ground floor. Those types of things are all happening on 911 voice calls. They will happen as well on the text calls. So I had a really cool graphic here on the other side. So imagine this. You don't have a good fix, and you don't know exactly where you are. The dispatcher has the ability to use a feature that will send you a text, and the text looks like that with a link. That link shares your GPS location from your phone. If you don't have your location services on for GPS, it'll prompt you to turn them on. So this is also a really good way that you can identify your location. And the other thing is, it does keep track of you as you move. So as you move, it will see, like if you're in a vehicle and it's a situation where you're not there by your own will, and you can activate this, then it'll actually track where you're going, and it'll ping you as you move. Let's see. And the only other thing that I wanted to make sure that you knew as far as using the tool is that, yes, in Cupertino it is fully functional. It is working. There shouldn't be any areas, except those areas where you know your cell phone doesn't work. So if you know you can text from there, you know that text to 911 should work for you. Yeah. That feature, by the way, is called the Rapid Locate feature. A few reminders. This tool is meant for you to use with a dispatcher. It's a partnership between the two of you to figure out, number one, where you are, what you need, what's going on, who might be involved, why and when. The five W's is what the dispatchers call it. So they have pretty well or very well worked out protocols and algorithms that they follow when they're doing the call taking. They'll take you down a path, so trust them. They're really, really good at what they do. How many of you have actually called 911? And the dispatchers, I would bet, did a pretty good job of going through relevant questions as long as you allowed them to be in charge. So with that, trust that this is the same process. It's the same technology, a cell phone call, a text call. They work exactly the same with location. They work exactly the same with everything else. It's the communication piece that is going to be the challenging piece. Next, it can translate, but that is not the primary purpose of the tool. If you can, use the translation services of the human on the voice call instead of using the translation services. But if you're in a situation, do not hesitate to use text to 911 in whatever language, because the worst thing it can do is not recognize your language. And I would imagine that at this point, they're going to just continue to build them out. And once more, a reminder, you have to be ready to have a full 911 call. This is not a tool of convenience. This isn't hey, there's an accident on 680 at whatever. Those types of things are more like social media hits. This is not a social media tool. People have asked us in the commission if we can report through WhatsApp or something else. This is a DOJ protected, firewall secured, very reliable, basically set of software applications, a very well-trained group of people, and a lot of infrastructure that doesn't waste time when time can't be wasted. So with that, be ready to answer the questions, figure out where you are, try to communicate that or verify that, and just like on a 911 call, they're going to ask you potentially to move. So if you can move, that's so that you can actually be found. That would be move out to the street if you're inside of a building. And then, after that, really just try it. Talk to your family members that might be interested in or benefit from using it. And I would say that I really just want to let you know that the volume of calls that's coming in, once again, do not test it though. The county comm took 45,811 calls in September. That's collectively. That's all the agencies and all the organizations. So they really don't have time to pass a test. So they're going to do well. In September, there were 16 text to 911 calls at that comm center. But throughout Santa Clara County, all of the different, and remember, as you go through, you get routed to the right call center. There were 214 text to 911 calls that, or text sessions that actually happened in September. So it's a tool. It's definitely becoming better known, and it is functioning, and we have a new platform for it. So with that, I would be very happy to answer any questions. I guarantee you I may not know the answer, but I can make sure that they become available. Are you going to have them come up?
I was just going to ask, as a privacy concern, could you go back to the slide where you were, the text here to, oh, is this one? Yeah. How long does the police or fire or dispatcher continue to track your location after you've clicked it?
When the call's over, the session's over.
Oh.
They don't track you. Yeah, they're not interested in surveillance or anything else. It's really just a matter of, as you stay on the phone, every session is terminated when they hang up. So.
Okay.
Yes, please come up to the mic and go talk straight into the mic, please.
Yeah, so I saw that it works in certain cities, and Cupertino is one of them. So does that mean if you're at work in another city that doesn't have this service, that it doesn't work in?
No. So it's actually a mandate that text to 911 and 911 translation services are available. So wherever you go, if you basically call 911, I would say throughout the entire state, at least in most of the country. I don't know of any areas that are really not covered. As you go in and out of an area, if you're using a cell phone, it'll figure out where you are. So there are county pockets, for example. You can go in and out of a county pocket, but if response is San Jose's, you're going to go to their call center. If you're here, you're part of our fire district, because county fire is your fire department. You will get county comm, so you'll get us. So if you're wondering if you're able to get 911 via text or call, I'd say throughout California, Santa Clara County for sure, the answer is yes, you can get it. Excellent. You're all experts at text to 911. So please consider family members, friends, anybody that might be interested in or benefit from using, especially when it comes to translation and other needs. I would say let them know or reach out and get the information to them and make sure they at least have the option. Is there one more? Good. I failed the tech.
Thank you, Deputy Chief Estrada. I'd like to introduce WAY. Is that how you pronounce your group? They're going to kick off our tabling presentation with a description of the work they do here in Cupertino. Thank you, ladies, for coming.
Hello, we are WAY, Wildfire Awareness Initiative, and we're a 501c3 nonprofit that Lauren and I founded back in 2021 following the Santa Clara fires that were in our community. And we just wanted to spread awareness about wildfire preparedness and prevention within the community because it was a really jarring event that none of us were prepared for.
Over the last couple of years, we've done a variety of presentations to a bunch of different age groups, including this council. This is our 3rd year. And most recently, we presented to Boy Scouts in Saratoga. We also share informational posts on our Instagram in order to reach a wider audience surrounding various wildfire issues.
Our hope is that through our work, we can educate our future teen leaders on wildfire safety and the impacts of wildfires in order to cultivate a more informed future generation, especially in the wildfires prone to California. And also to learn more about our organization, follow us on Instagram at Y4Change and check out our booth.
All right, thanks for having us. We're going to move on to the next booth now.
Thank you. And thank you guys for the work you do on behalf of our community. I know I wasn't doing anything that useful when I was your age. I'm going to hand this off to Marta.
All right, our next table presentation is going to be from Cadre.
Testing. Hi, I'm Marcia Hovey. I'm the executive director of Cadre, which is a nonprofit in the county that supports non-governmental emergency management. So we're the ones that coordinate food banks and shelters and things during disasters, and when there's no disaster, we're out in the community educating both the nonprofits and faith community and individuals. So we're doing a couple things. You can kind of see a fire theme going on here. We also have magnets on the alerts that would come out, or what you should know as a fire may be approaching. So what does a red flag warning mean to you? What does an evacuation warning mean? What does an order mean? And we have tips here on what to do for each of those steps so that you'll be ready should you have to leave. In addition to that, we have earthquake safety presentations in 20 languages. You can see one of the videos that are on our website. A lot of information about what to do at your home when there's an earthquake. So if you imagine that it happened right now, a lot of things would probably start running through your mind on Is your family okay? Are your pets okay? Is your house okay? If it's not okay, what do I need to do? So this is a good check. It takes about 30 minutes to watch the video. It's a good way to just check and make sure that you've got everything lined up so that you'll be safe in the event of an earthquake. Thank you.
Our next table presentation will be from the Cupertino GIS team.
So my name is Andy Bedell, and I work for the City of Cupertino in the GIS department, which is in IT. And what we are here to do today is to showcase a couple of our cool applications. We have Service Finder, which is on the Cupertino website, and we also have our Cupertino 311 app. So we would love for you guys to come by. Get loud there quick. But we'd love for you guys to come by. Let us fill you in on what we got going on some really cool applications that we've created for Cupertino residents.
We're now going to hear from Cupertino Citizen Corps.
Hello, my name is Ken, and I'm with the Office of Emergency Management. And our goal here through these two tables is to promote education so that each individual knows what to do in case of an emergency. You have the supplies, the training, and the things that you need to know, how to communicate your situation, like we just got updated on the texting 911. But those are the things that we want to have everybody understand and know what to do as an individual. But with that, we want to also extend the training so that it goes into what does a family need to know. So as your family, we want to make sure that you have your supplies together, your training on being able to manage utilities, know that your house is safe and understanding what you need to do. Also having the communications plan so that you can communicate with your family, and what do you do and how do you access that communication system as a family unit, and how to stay informed. The third thing is, as a community in your neighborhood, we want you all to understand how do you function as a neighborhood so that you can know your neighbors, understand how you assess what's going on in your neighborhood, and then how do you communicate that information out to the city. And that's what we've got in the two different tables that are back here for you to understand. But we offer that training free, and the next trainings are coming up November 11th and then November 20th. So those are two different training dates, and we offer that. And if you're able to take care of yourself, your family, and your neighborhood, and you would want to assist the community, we have a table over here with information about our Citizen Corps. That's the next thing where you would be able to plug in and be able to assist your community if you would be able to after you're all safe and can lend a hand. Okay? Any questions? See you over here.
Finally, we're going to
Ken
hear
and
from
Marta's
County
group.
OEM.
Oh, sorry, Marta, do you want to go ahead?
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Louis Toma. This is my colleague, Jeff Walker. We're just here representing the county's Office of Emergency Management. What we're doing is just trying to promote preparedness, and the one message you take away from that is the more prepared you are as a community or as a home, the better you're going to be, better off you're going to be. I think I had said to a number of you tonight that a lot of people expect in the big disaster, there's going to be a police car and a fire engine right there in your driveway right away, and that's just not going to happen. And being prepared is the best way to take care of yourself. And the great thing is we do that for our jurisdictions, for our cities in this county. Your Office of Emergency Management does that for all of you, and it makes our job easier that there's such a robust and such a great Office of Emergency Management here in the city of Cupertino. You guys are truly fortunate with how knowledgeable your staff is. And in the same way, you can do that for that office and being prepared, signing up for Alert SCC, knowing your zone. The GIS table over there has so much great information. So anything you can do to make yourself more prepared in times of crisis is what we're all aiming for. So thank you so much for coming tonight.
Great. So
wasn't quite prepared
Hello,
for
hello.
this.
Testing.
So I'm Leslie Allen. I work with the American Red Cross. I'm actually pretty new to this. I got into it because I was interested in fire safety, and I see that you guys have it well covered. I'm interested in disaster response. As we've had the outbreak in Maui, we're still staffing shelters there. We're thinking it's going to be about a 6-month process that we're going to be sending volunteers over from local and national Red Cross teams. As we all are aware of the Oakland fire, the Maui fire, 7 trees flooding. I just got back from the Smith fire, 89,000 acres in the Jedediah Smith is still burning. The Sandy fire, the police at the fire department had that controlled. So we do respond to disasters. We get the calls as they come in through the fire department. We try to be on scene so that we can be there to guide people into what they need to have, put them in shelters, help them get to hotels, get them food, help replace some of the things that they've lost, glasses, wheelchairs, canes, try to get them some assistance and help them walk through FEMA. Very, very involved. Glad to be part of Red Cross. And if anybody has any more questions, we do have some handouts here. But it sounds like your fire safety, I'm not going to go into that, but we do also do fire safety, walk around your homes to make sure there's defensible space. Let's see what else we do. Besides blood drawing, we're not just blood suckers. Thank you.
Hello, testing. Great, thank you so much. Everybody give me one more round of applause for all of our tablers. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time. I want to introduce next up on our Fire Safe Council, San Jose Water, and N5 Sensors. First up, we have Seth Chalette, who's the CEO of SEC Fire Safe Council since 2020. Seth has served as CEO with the SEC Fire Safe Council. He holds a BS in Communications, an MBA, and certificates in Operations from Stanford, and as well as a nonprofit financial management from Harvard University Kennedy School of Government. Seth is a CEO, a board member, an advisor whose background bridges philanthropy, technology, public and private sectors. For 25 years, Seth led global sales and operations for various technology startups, Fortune 500 divisions, venture capital, and private equity-backed organizations with extensive experience in mergers and acquisitions. His experience includes software, hardware, machine learning, and artificial intelligence-based solutions. For the past 15 years, he has served as a nonprofit CEO and as board member for numerous nonprofits and grant-making foundations. We'll also have Jared Lewis join us from San Jose Water. Jared Lewis is a resource ecologist with over 2 decades of regional work in sustainability and environment management. His work focuses on the intersection of science, policy, and management with a special interest in climate and adaptation strategies. As San Jose Water's manager of environmental planning and natural resources, he is responsible for the organization's overall strategic environmental management objectives, including objectives related to sustainable surface water supply, wildfire resilience, and natural resources management. Prior to San Jose Water, Jared served as the Environmental Services and Geospatial Technology Practice Lead at ATS, which is an engineering and environmental consulting firm in San Francisco, where he managed environmental technology and GIS services for utility and public sector clients, including the integration of GIS, computer vision, and AI solutions for wildfire risk management and ecosystem monitoring. We'll also have David Fernandez from San Jose Water join us. David Fernandez currently serves as Director of Emergency Management, Security, and Business Resiliency at San Jose Water, where he brings over 2 decades of dedicated experience in security, safety, and emergency management to enhancing preparedness and resilience within the organization. For SJ Water, he served as the Director of Emergency Management and Preparedness at Santa Clara Valley Medical Center. My mom works there, so thank you very much. Directing business continuity functions across 3 hospitals and 14 clinics. David also has an extensive history of service with the U.S. Coastal Guard and Coast Guard Reserve, where he held multiple key positions. His most recent roles include Chief of Emergency Management and Force Readiness at Sector SF and an Incident Management Team Planning and Logistics Chief at Pacifica Area Command. And last but not least, we have Deborah Denninger, who's Chief Revenue Officer at N5 Sensors. Deborah is a serial entrepreneur with a passion for all things sensing and a goal to make the world a better place through sensors. Deborah has over 30 years of experience in development and commercialization of environmental sensor systems in both large and small companies. She joined N5 in 2021 to bring the market the most advanced ground-based sensors for detection and tracking of wildfire and air quality. Having seen way too many damaging fires destroy communities and property near her home in Colorado, Deborah is committed to N5 Shield to market and drive widespread adoption through an economical hardware-enabled sensing as a service model. Thank you. And everybody please come up.
Good evening. Can you hear me okay? Great, thank you very much. By the way, thank you for that introduction. You know, my mom wrote that bio, so there might have been a little fluff in there, but I appreciate you covering all of it. I just want to start with a few house cleaning items and first extend a few thank yous for bringing us up to this wonderful forum tonight. First of all, thank you to Mayor Way. I want to put a special thank you to the Public Safety Forum, who puts on this annual event, and a thank you to Thomas Chin, who was most grateful in his outreach to us and spends a lot of his time making sure that this is a successful event. So thank you. What we wanted to do tonight is to tell a short story about the Santa Clara County Fire Safe Council, a little bit about our evolution and the partnership that we share with San Jose Water and N5 Systems on early wildfire detection technology. But let me say a few other quick things and recognize a few people that are in the audience today. Our hazardous fuel reduction and community outreach and education director is here. Amanda, please raise your hand. Tara, who runs our community outreach and education program with Amanda. She manages our social media and our website, is here, and they're both at that table tonight. And we encourage everybody to come visit that table. There are, let me just take a peek. There are a couple of important pieces of information at that table. So the Santa Clara County Fire Safe Council serves as the county coordinator for all of the nonprofits and all of the non-government agencies that are engaged in all aspects of wildfire. And what that means is we track all their projects, we work and collaborate with them so that we can pass the information along to the Board of Supervisors and our county partners so that everybody knows what is happening in the way of wildfire. And so we have a grant from the California Fire Safe Council, and that grant, as the county coordinator, will allow us to continue the work on our community wildfire protection plan. Just a quick raise of hands. How many of you are familiar with the community wildfire protection plan? That's okay. Our goal here tonight is to make sure that you have more awareness on the way out than you did on the way in. And you can see the community wildfire protection plan over on our booth, and we're glad to answer many questions for you. So let me go through the agenda before I turn it over to our other guest speakers. I've shared with you a little bit about the CWPP and the county coordinator role, and the real purpose of our being here is to discuss what we're building together with our partners at N5 and San Jose Water, which is what we call an early wildfire detection and mitigation network. I think everybody here knows that when it comes to wildfire, the past is somewhat of a prologue, but there's so much unpredictability with wildfires. And one of the key things with any wildfire is early detection. Theoretically, the earlier you know of a wildfire, the earlier you can confirm that it started, the earlier you can have the resources there to ensure that it's put out or addressed before it becomes a much larger conflagration. And so one of the things we started to work on about 18 months ago at the Fire Safe Council is to extend our impact to the community. We've been an independent nonprofit for 20 years serving Santa Clara County. And in those 20 years, we've developed a lot of expertise doing what are called hazardous fuel reduction projects, fuel breaks, shaded fuel breaks, escape routes. 4 years ago, we helped lead the 6.5-mile fuel break on Highway 17. And over the last couple of years, we've won 2 very significant CAL FIRE grants. They're called Forest Health Grants. The first was a $7.5 million grant that we share with our partners, and the second is a $6.5 million grant that we also share with our partners to protect, both with forest health and wildfire mitigation treatments, throughout about 2,000 acres in the Los Gatos Creek watershed. So I mention that because as an organization, the Fire Safe Council has deep expertise. A lot of our staff are former county or former CAL FIRE personnel. So they know fire, they know wildfire, they know fuels, they know wildfire behavior. And so about 18 months ago, as we were looking at how do we become a deeper strategic partner, how do we at the Fire Safe Council provide deeper impact, I started to think with our board, how can we leverage technology and add that to the work that we've already been doing around risk mitigation. And so I spent probably 8 to 10 months exploring the market for wildfire-related technology. And I know we've got a lot of people here that are pretty technology proficient. Maybe you're high schoolers looking for your next career. One of the most interesting spaces right now is wildfire technology. There is so much happening. And so what I wanted to do was really take a landscape review with an eye on what are the best wildfire mitigation technologies with a specific lens on early detection. That's one of the things that we want to focus on at the Fire Safe Council, is how could we focus on what tools and what solutions are available for early detection that we could help our partners, whether they be county fire or CAL FIRE or the various municipalities, what technologies might we be able to help them to pilot test to see which ones have the greatest efficacy and hopefully then go to scale. And so I spent the last, I'd say, 8 months kicking a lot of tires. And during the course of those 8 months, I happened to have a number of close conversations with Jared here, who manages the environmental planning and resources for San Jose Water. And kind of one of those small world conversations, Jared was already ahead of the curve. He had been thinking, how could we bring technology in to San Jose Water to do a couple of things? One, help with early wildfire detection, because if any of you are familiar with wildfires, one of the most important things to help ensure that you can manage risk for is your water system, right? Wildfire has very deleterious and very significantly damaging impacts for community water systems. The ash and the soot from the wildfire clogs up the intakes. It destroys the ecosystem. And there's a lot of stories out there throughout the U.S. about communities that have had a wildfire go through, and all of a sudden they have to spend another $3, $4, even $500 million to rebuild their water utilities. Well, certainly San Jose Water was thinking they don't want to go through that, but they were also looking at a project where technology might help them monitor the health of the watershed, the Ellsman Reservoir, the Lexington reservoirs. So Jared and I actually started a series of conversations, collaborations. Jared pulled out a sketch that he already had been working on about an early detection network. And so as we at the Fire Safe Council did a landscape review, as we look at early wildfire detection, there are a lot of systems that are out there already. How many of you are familiar with the alert wildfire cameras that are installed throughout the county? Raise your hand. They're a great tool. Cameras are very useful for wildfire detection, but they may not be able to detect the wildfire at its earliest ignition, or they may not be able to detect the wildfire that is smoldering for a few hours before it has a significant ignition. So as we started to strategically look at early detection, One of the things that we settled on is the sensor technology being the most adept technology to help with early wildfire detection. And Deborah Deininger will talk a little bit about their algorithms, the machine learning and the AI that goes into their systems. But long story short, after we settled on various technologies, Jared, I, and David Fernandez started to have some conversations about how could we pilot test some of these solutions for San Jose Water. So we developed a partnership with several wildfire sensor vendors, and then ultimately worked with San Jose Water to develop a matrix. They wanted to test and evaluate several different wildfire sensor vendors, and they wanted us to help them determine what's the best way to go about that. How do you evaluate wildfire sensor technology? How do you determine what the best vendors are out there to help make those decisions? And so we led a project with them that focused on a couple of key things. Here you can see several of the solutions that we looked at. We looked at wildfire cameras such as Alert California, Pano, lightning detection systems from FNN Network, and several drone-based response systems. We ultimately decided at the Fire Safe Council to start our early mitigation network working with wildfire sensors. And so Jared, I, and David ultimately developed and sat down and said, how are we going to pilot test? How is San Jose Water going to make the best evaluation and select the best systems? So the Fire Safe Council put together what we call a decision matrix in conjunction with San Jose Water. And it's basically a way to evaluate different vendors and weight the evaluation based on what's most important to San Jose Water. So what we looked at were total cost of ownership, right? And many of us in this room know technology. And technology costs go much beyond the initial purchase order. So we looked at upfront purchase costs, maintenance, and ongoing upgrades. What would that cost through the life of the system? We looked at battery life and charge time, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But the sensors that we've deployed through N5 have the ability to be solar powered. And so we wanted to make sure that those batteries can withstand low light situations and charge very quickly on days when it wasn't as lovely as it is today. We also looked at delivery time, and that was important because many of the sensor vendors manufacture on demand. And San Jose Water had a pilot project that they were looking at that had a specific, let's call it, deadline. And so how quickly could we get the product in our hands, and how quickly could we actually implement the product, meaning actually do the installation. Also, we worked with them to develop a parameter and looked at eight different various parameters for the sensors: temperature, humidity, a variety of other things. And ultimately, our analysis led us to select a system by N5 sensors. So when we did that, the Fire Safe Council approached N5 and asked them if we could become a value-added reseller so that we can not only implement and install and maintain the system for San Jose Water, but we can also go out throughout Santa Clara County, throughout San Mateo County, and throughout Santa Cruz County, and help our partners, municipalities, clients like San Jose Water, utilities, understand the technology and ultimately adopt that technology so that we can get more sensors installed and reduce the risk of wildfire in the county. So what that leads me is into introducing Deborah Deininger, who is the Chief Revenue Officer for N5, and she'll share a little bit about N5's story. Then we'll introduce Jared, and he'll talk a little bit about the partnership that we have and how the installation and the use of the wildfire sensors are being used and monitored by San Jose Water. Deborah?
Thank you very much, Seth, and also much gratitude to the Santa Clara Fire Safe Council, to San Jose Water for bringing me out here with them, and to the City of Cupertino for giving me a chance to talk to you about what we're doing in early wildfire detection. So I represent a company called N5 Sensors. It's not a household name like some of the other companies that might be in Cupertino. But with that said, we've actually been around for a while. We were founded in 2012. Our founder and CEO was a professor at the University of Maryland, and he also worked for National Institutes of Standards and Technologies. We've got a long and deep history in technology and sensors and applying sensors to the most difficult environmental applications. We've long been supplying the Department of Defense with environmental threat technology products to help them understand threats. And in 2021, we were invited by the Department of Homeland Security Science and Technology Directorate to participate in a program specifically aimed to improve early, accurate wildfire detection. So yes, cameras exist, satellites exist, 911 callers exist. These are all great tools available, but nothing, as we can tell by the number of fires that continue to happen, in and of themselves, this is not a complete solution. So DHS, S&T did a big program to look at how do we solve this problem. And they ultimately settled on sensors. The reason being, before you can see a fire, before you can see the smoke, before you can see the heat from a satellite, a burning happens. That means there's gases being created, there's particulates being created, it's a chemical reaction. Those, if you happen to have the right sensors, can be detected. So as I said, because of our history and our capability in sensing, we were invited to this program, started with lab tests, went through a couple of years of field tests. Just in the last month, we were notified that we are the single vendor remaining after all of the lab and field tests and proving our technology and reliability, going into 2024 for continuing to deploy with and in support of the federal government. And so really what we're about is combining sensors and artificial intelligence into this environmental platform. So what it does, it starts with a network of multimodal sensors. Those sensors are detecting gases, chemicals, particulates, temperature, humidity, pressure. We also bring in via API data on wind, lightning strikes. So it is a bidirectional API. I'll talk about how we push the data out later. Training a sensor like this to essentially smell a fire takes a lot of training data. So we spent 2 years gathering data, all kinds of environments, all over the place, prescribed fire, real fire, tons of training data, helping the system to understand this is a fire. And also, very importantly, this is smoke, but the fire's not near you. The fire might be 10, 50, 100 miles away, because we all know that fires that are very far away can actually have a huge impact on air quality. But what our sensor system needs to say is, there is a fire and here's where it is. That's the key information: speed, accuracy, reliability. And that's what we're able to do with these sensors. We also wanted to have something with a minimal infrastructure requirement. So you can see me standing here holding it. It's nice and lightweight. Very robust, withstands wind, rain, snow, hail, you name it, it's going to survive. Pretty big battery in here because we have to be able to run for an extended period of time when the sun is not available, as well as being able to recharge quickly when the sun is available. We can communicate via cellular network, LTE. When cellular is not available, we can also do LoRa back to a gateway, which can be cellular or satellite. We push data to the cloud every 18 seconds. It's a combination of edge processing on this device and cloud processing using multiple sensors in a network operating together to make the best decisions about what's going on. Through that, we've been able to achieve an incredibly low false alarm rate, which is really important because the last thing you want to do on a red flag day is say to the fire department, oh, there's a fire over there. Oh, no, I mean it's there. So this accuracy point, really critical and enabled by our networks of sensors and our cloud data. The final piece that's really important here is how we communicate the data. All of the emergency managers and fire department people around here will tell you they're inundated with information. So we've put a lot of work into the communication platform. So we have our own web and app-based dashboard that will let you see the data. There's a lot of good data here that will help predict fire behavior. We also send a short and simple text with a link to a very specific location where the fire is. So very easy to follow up. And finally, one thing that I did not know before I got involved in wildfire was just how many communication tools these poor people working on fire have to deal with. So we didn't want to make that problem any worse. So we also have API-based data reporting so that the data can be pulled into whatever other platform our customers are used to working with. I've talked a lot about what our sensor system does, but I want to tell you about some really important things that it doesn't do. We designed this for the wildland-urban interface. Okay? I always pick on Wyoming. I live in Colorado. Satellites are fine. Fire is a part of nature. They're going to let a lot of those places burn anyways. But when we're deploying in your community, in my community, in the wildland-urban interface where we live, where our children go to school, privacy is critical. We have no camera, no microphones. All we're doing is smelling the air, so we're never influencing or interfering with anybody's privacy. It's safe to put this anywhere. You can put it in your backyard, you can put it on your watershed by your school, and get great information to keep you safe. So since we launched this product just about a year ago, we've been able to deploy all up and down California with some amazing partners, including San Jose Water. These deployments are growing rapidly and will continue to grow, and I've got a quick view of some of the California sites that we're in right now. And I will end with my, again, deep thanks to San Jose Water. Actually, this slide is already out of date because we are now in Hawaii. So we're in 11 states, 4 provinces. We're protecting over 1 million acres. We've detected over 100 fire events through the training and through the real life use of the data, or of the system. We've detected a number of real fires. And for the tech geeks among us, that was 2 terabytes of training data that went into building this system. So thank you very much, and let me hand it over to Jared.
Thank you. Skip that one. There we go. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jared Lewis. I'm the Manager of Environmental Planning and Natural Resources at San Jose Water. Seth gave a really good vision for what this early detection network is, based on the rationale and where we're headed. And that's certainly a vision that San Jose Water shares and has been supporting in a number of ways. As a public water utility, can you hear me all right? All right, great. Better? San Jose Water is somewhat unique. We not only manage source of supply, but we also manage watershed land that serves roughly 1 million Santa Clara County residents, and I believe roughly 2/3 of Cupertino. And as part of that work, we commit, I would say, significant resources towards wildfire mitigation, natural resources management, and watershed management to protect that source of supply. Wildfire mitigation is really an important part of our work, not only because of that connection to source water quality protection and watershed protection, but also because of our larger organizational mission around sustainability and stewardship of those lands. Here in Santa Clara County, we manage around 6,000 acres of watershed land on both our Los Gatos Creek and Saratoga Creek watersheds. And across our group, San Jose Water Group, we manage about 25,000 acres. Our programs include really a range of projects, policies, and partnerships that we've developed around our core focus areas here. These are really commitments that San Jose Water makes towards stewardship, sustainability, environmental management, and they're really core to our larger ESG goals and also our larger organizational mission. And this work is really a commitment to extending those benefits of stewardship and management to the communities that we serve and to the larger stakeholder community. We've been working closely with Fire Safe Council for, I think, almost 2 years now, somewhere around there, on a set of key actions that we feel have the greatest potential to really catalyze the work around wildfire risk mitigation here in Santa Clara County. And as part of that work, we recognized early on that technology has a key role in both scaling our ability to mitigate wildfire and also innovation, the important role that innovation plays in mitigating wildfire at the regional scale. And at the same time to drive partnerships, particularly public-private partnerships, that we feel are really essential to moving this work forward. This work around the sensors that we're describing here with Deborah, and thank you, that's better, sorry about that. is really built on work that we've been doing for about 2 years here now. And that work includes work that we've done early on looking at things like wildfire detection cameras as well as the sensors that Seth mentioned earlier. We know that there's often a friction in adopting new technologies, and part of the work that we're trying to do here in partnership with Fire Safe Council is really designed to address that friction to help implement this at a larger scale. At the end of the day, this is really about wildfire resiliency, building more resiliency in both in our water system, in our communities, and the capacity to protect and mitigate wildfire at a scale that's much larger than an individual organization. Wildfire is obviously a significant risk, and as a water utility, it has a number of different inherent risks, including risk to infrastructure, risk to supply and water quality that Seth mentioned. For that reason, a lot of our programs are focused on wildfire mitigation and, of course, resource protection to protect that source of supply. Again, we're serving over 1 million people here in Santa Clara County. So having a solution or a number of solutions that directly address that risk is critical to operations, business continuity, and to the communities that we serve more generally. Of course, detection is just one part of the piece in the larger wildfire mitigation solution, but it's an important piece. Minutes and seconds matter in the response to wildfire. Most of you here that are working in the space understand that. The response time and getting resources on a fire quickly really can make a huge difference. And that's one of the reasons that we are focusing so much on this early detection solution. To that end, we're focused on the set of what we call core objectives that I'll walk through here quickly. These are really fundamental to our selection of sensors as a technology rather than cameras, although we've deployed cameras as well. First, and probably most obviously, reducing the risk of catastrophic wildfire. These efforts are really designed to mitigate that risk and to mitigate impacts to supply, water supply, more in particular. And also to protect the community. Our watersheds share an interface with several communities, thousands of people living in the WUI that are adjacent to our watershed in Los Gatos and Saratoga Creek. Second, providing resources to support existing programs. There are existing programs and technologies that are already in place. Some of these have been described here earlier. But there's a need to expand those efforts and to extend the scope of those efforts. And this really helps to augment the existing platforms that are already working towards these goals. Increasing the accuracy and precision of wildfire detection. Deb described, some of the amazing innovations of this technology. It takes time and resources to accurately detect wildfire, and we need a solution that's able to improve not only response time, but the accuracy of that detection. Streamlining allocation of resources and monitoring. This objective, I think, is twofold. We need to understand that the scale of detection needs to be increased, and at the same time, we need better information to deploy resources quickly, and again, that accuracy piece is really important. And then finally, coordination between responding agencies, communities, and other stakeholders. We need to organize the response. We need to be really adept at communicating where to deploy the resources and what resources are needed. So, really at the end of the day, the sensors in this initiative responds to all of these objectives and the work that we've been doing here, and hope to continue to expand, hopefully with new partnerships, is really designed to better address and mitigate wildfire at scale. Before I jump off here, David, is there anything you'd like to add here?
So, good evening. How many of you are San Jose Water customers? Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for your service. And, is this our last, Tom, is this the last presentation? There's one more? The sheriff. Okay, great. The guys with the guns. Excellent. I'll be brief. This is a lot of complex stuff, and all this is done so you guys can get water. That's our number one, that you get higher quality, best customer service that we can possibly afford. Most critical is that we need to support our fire partners. All this is so we can continue providing water pressure for fire suppression to make sure that the citizens are safe. So we all work together. The private and public partnership is critical. I want to thank all the volunteer organizations, Cadre, Fire Council, Red Cross. Without them, this county will not function when there's an emergency. And with that, I just want to thank you for your time.
Thank you.
If we have a few minutes left, we're glad to take questions from the audience. Well, that makes it easy for us. I also just want to quickly, before I wrap up, say thank you to a couple of other people. The CWPP that we have up here, we couldn't have done that with Louis Toma, who spoke to everybody in the back. I just want to thank Louis. He was part of our management team for the CWPP. So thank you for your support. And I want to say a special welcome and hello to our advisory board member, Siddhartha Deswani. Thank you for coming today with your dad. Good to see you. And thank you for all your help in educating me around machine learning and AI applications. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you for the time.
Thank you to all of our wildfire safety presenters. Very grateful for the detection network that you're building out. I have the honor to introduce our last couple of speakers to talk about the residential and commercial safety and new drone program. I'm going to start with Captain Neil Valenzuela. Captain Valenzuela began his career with the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office in 2001 and has over 20 years of law enforcement and managerial experience. Captain Valenzuela is in charge of our police services for the City of Cupertino, Saratoga, and Los Altos Hills for the last year. Captain Valenzuela has spent the majority of his career working patrol in Cupertino and as a detective in Cupertino. As a lieutenant, he was the assistant division commander with then Captain, now Under Sheriff Kevin Binder in 2013, and assistant division commander with Captain Rich Urena from 2018 to 2021. Captain Valenzuela is a U.S. Army veteran with an honorable discharge, holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Social and Criminal Justice and an Associate of Arts in Administration of Justice. And we also have with us Deputy Ryan Vesey. Deputy Vesey began his career with the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office in 2016 when he was hired as a correctional deputy assigned to both the Santa Clara County Main Jail and Elmwood facilities. He was a member of the jail's emergency response team and worked in both maximum and minimum security housing environments. After 2 years in the jails, Deputy Vesey joined the Sheriff's Enforcement Bureau, where he is currently assigned to the West Valley Patrol Division, patrolling the cities of Cupertino, Saratoga, and Los Altos Hills. Deputy Vesey is a current member of the Sheriff's Emergency Response Team, Marijuana Eradication Team, and recently achieved the position of Field Training Officer, where experienced officers in the field train and mentor newer deputies who recently graduated the police academy. Deputy Vesey is a post-certified Gracie Survival Tactics instructor, which incorporates Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu into law enforcement training, and he uses the skills weekly when teaching defensive tactics at the Sheriff's Academy. Deputy Vesey holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Justice Studies, an Associate of Arts degree in Law Enforcement Technology, an EMT certification, and a post-academy instructor certification. He is a licensed remote pilot through the Federal Aviation Administration, which certifies operators to pilot unmanned aircraft systems or drones in the USA. So please welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Can you guys hear me? Okay. Thank you to the Commission, City of Cupertino, for hosting us here. Let me see if I'm going the right way here. What we want to go over here, we're going to go over overall crime date update, give you guys some residential burglary statistics and some prevention tips, and also going to give you guys a couple of commercial burglary statistics and prevention tips. After I'm done, Deputy Ryan VC is going to come up here and talk about our drone program and give you guys a couple of videos and examples of what we're going to utilize the drones for. Just give you guys a update on our crime stats. As you can see, kind of broke it down from 2023 up to down to 2018, so we can compare where we're at. We're starting to get back to the numbers pre-COVID. We had a really good low numbers there right about COVID and right a little bit after COVID, but we're starting to see some of the same trends that we were seeing right before COVID. The biggest things that you can see that I think are really valuable, and I'll talk about them here in a minute, is our grand thefts have significantly decreased, and those are the catalytic converter thefts, which have gone down significantly. We're still getting hit with grand thefts, but not as much as we were before. So just to go over a composition of all the property crime that occurs here, you can see that identity theft makes up the biggest portion of property crimes. We have vandalism, grand theft, vehicle burglary, commercial burglary, residential burglary, and robbery, which makes up the smallest percentage of our composition. Just to show you guys where we're at currently to where we're at the previous year, robberies are down by 4 just from last year. Residential burglaries are up by 1. Commercial burglaries are up by 4. Vehicle burglaries are down significantly, which is good news. And again, also the same thing with grand theft. It's down significantly. Auto theft is down. Vandalism is down. Identity theft, unfortunately, is now the new method that people are utilizing. So mail theft is back on the rise again. And so these are the way that they steal your identity. So just kind of goes a little bit on the graph here of where we're at with residential burglaries. As you can see, give you guys a bigger time span. Before COVID, 2015 was a rough year for Cupertino with almost 212 residential burglaries. So we're doing everything we can. We're doing public awareness. We're having the neighborhood watch groups together, giving people the tips in order to be successful in preventing a burglary at your residence. This just breaks down the times of days that are occurring. I'm sorry, the methods that people are breaking in. 61% by far is the glass breakage door. Does anybody here have a rear sliding glass door in your rear bedroom? That's the biggest method of entry right now. The reason is they break that window, they can go in and out without triggering the alarm, unless you have a glass breakage alarm. So some of the tips that we provide during neighborhood watch meetings, either a safety film or having people install glass breakage alarms. Those are a little bit tricky because if you have pets, sometimes they'll trigger those alarms, so you have to be careful. If a dog starts barking, it'll actually set off the alarm. I know because I have one, and my dog sends it to set it off. So days of the week that they're occurring, you can see we're kind of scattered all throughout the week. There's no really rhyme or reason to it, and also the same thing with the time of day. We're looking at the evening hours as being our biggest time for residential burglaries. This is kind of hard to see here, but and we go over this in Neighborhood Watch. Anybody here part of a Neighborhood Watch program in your neighborhood? If you're not, I suggest going to talk to the city back there because you may be in part of one. Or if not, we can set you up so that we have a Neighborhood Watch for your neighborhood. Some of the tips that we use: activate alarms. Even if you're just going to go to the grocery store or you're only going for an hour, it's beneficial to have the alarm. Set it, and that way we can respond anytime there's alarm trigger. If you have a second story, we suggest installing sensors in your second story. Some of the crooks know that utilizing the second story windows is sometimes a good way to bypass alarm systems because windows and doors on the second story don't usually have those kind of sensors. Whatever you have, whether it's a live monitoring system, a Ring camera, anything else that you can harden your residence, we recommend it. Lock your doors, lock your window. If you're going to be leaving for a significant amount of time, if you trust your neighbors, let your neighbors know. If there's going to be somebody coming or somebody not coming to your house, that way they know. If they can pick up your mail, oftentimes crooks will see the mail stacking up and realize that's a sign of a vacant house. So you trust your neighbor and you can rely on them. Have them collect your mail for you and save it for you, or maybe keep an eye on your house while you're gone. Don't leave valuables in plain sight. Obviously, that goes with your residence, and that also goes with your vehicle. Don't hide spare keys under the mat or under the planter. If you do have a spare key, hide it somewhere on your house, and maybe buy a little safe for it with a combination lock or something like that for it. Get to know your neighbors. Obviously, that's the biggest thing, and report any and all suspicious activity. What suspicious activity is, we kind of go over that neighborhood watch, but vehicles that are left idling, vehicles that drive back and forth with the lights off, people knocking on your door trying to solicit stuff kind of at odd hours, people looking into windows, call us immediately. We always say call 911 anytime you have that, and we'll be out there as soon as possible. This is some stats here on commercial burglaries. You can see we've pretty much stayed about the same from the last 3 years, give or take a few numbers. 2020 was a rough year for commercial burglaries. That's because a lot of people were home, and so the crooks targeted businesses during that time. We can see going back to 2014 where we had about 123. Some of the statistics that we have, again, it's merchandise, people going into mass shoplifting, whether it's from the Target, the Apple store, or the Ulta store, the golf store down the street here. People just going in there mass shoplifting. You can see that sometimes they don't know what day it is, but these are occurring during different times of the week. Cash, electronics, food, merchandise, tools, all different things stolen from commercial burglaries. Shoplifting, anything under $950. This is actually a problem right now. You can see 2022, we had a good break from that, but we're up to 73 so far here this year, which is pretty much comparable to right before COVID of shoplifting items. So some of the recommendations we are making for businesses: secure windows, doors, install alarms, use surveillance systems, illuminate dark areas in your store. So I'm going to say thank you for right now, but I'll be back if you guys have any questions. I'm going to pass it on to Deputy Ryan VC to go over our drone program.
Thank you, Captain, and thank you, young man, for that good introduction. Saved me a whole very long breath. But just as a reminder, my name is Deputy VZ. I work West Valley Patrol. I've been there for about 4 years now, and most recently was tasked with starting and initiating the drone program in our agency. You're going to hear a couple of acronyms here, like UAV or UAS. That's an unmanned aircraft system or an unmanned aircraft vehicle. To save myself from a whole lot of syllables, I'm just going to call it what it is, which is a drone. So the first, actually, you know what? I was going to have pamphlets made up for you guys, and my apologies. I did not get that in time, but I did leave a little surprise for you guys. If everyone will actually have a look underneath their chair, you will happen to notice that there's absolutely nothing. Oh, wow. I only got 2? Only 2 this time. Okay. Done public speaking with that before. I had my numbers up to about 50% once, and I thought, those are rookie numbers. Got to pump that up a little bit. Okay, so Senate Bill 230 has been enacted across the country, which basically permits law enforcement to utilize as many resources as possible to get us what is called de-escalation. De-escalation is a meaning that a way that we can get people to cooperate without conflict as much as possible. We use things such as our PA systems. We have other use of forces that we can use basically to have people calm down and without having to resort to any sort of violence. That is basically what a UAS is. That is exactly what a drone is meant to do. It gives us eyes in the sky, but it is primarily a reactive tool and not proactive. And what I mean to that is that we would be out there and we are called for a call for service, and that is when a drone would be deployed. We don't use it on our own to go and find a speeder or pull people over. Nothing like that, to see through people's windows. Simply a reactive tool in the event of something violent. With this Senate bill that was passed, we were given permission to obviously use these out in the field. And realistically, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. This is something that 1,400 other agencies in the United States have already done. We've just been watching closely to see the success rate, and it has been almost turnkey. That's why we chose to go with it. Benefits of a UAS program for law enforcement. Obviously, I don't have to read off all of them. I think the screen is big enough, but to highlight a few are obviously cost effectiveness and repair costs. These things are made out of cheap plastic, but they're very rugged. Operated on batteries that last for about 45 minutes or so. And obviously one of the most important things is overhead observations, providing critical updates to first responders on crucial public safety missions. Public transparency, very big topic on that. Every flight that we will ever do is going to be posted on the Sheriff's Office webpage for you to see. We'll have what we call an event number, which is realistically kind of like a report number, but even if we didn't write a report on it and we needed to use it, you can see it for yourself. Where was it? How long was it in the air? What kind of a call was it? Again, not trying to reinvent the wheel. We've seen other agencies do it, and everybody seems to love it. I have a couple of videos I'm going to show you. This one right here is from an actual incident that we had, and just to give you an idea of what it looks like. Has anyone not seen a video from a drone? Just a couple? Okay, good. It's similar to a helicopter, but it is about, yay big. So obviously, like I said, much more cost effective. Okay, there we go. Per the FAA or the Federal Aviation Administration, we're not allowed to go above a certain amount of feet. So obviously anything like above aircraft, planes flying overhead, helicopters, things of that nature would not be of concern. We use apps that sense every other type of aircraft that's in the area. So for like the San Martin airport, things of that nature, if there's a Cessna that happens to be flying somewhere nearby, it would let us know to avoid any sort of collisions. Also used for the UAS is going to be explosive device and evaluation and mitigation. This is a actual shot from our drone, and that is our bomb squad's robot, which is that we utilize fairly often, basically just to investigate any sort of suspicious packages or things of that nature. So if there was any sort of like potential for there to be another explosive device like an IED, or an improvised explosive device, bomb squad could come out and help with that. We would provide that overwatch to inspect that package as well. We also use it for crime scene documentation. There is software implemented in most drones, and the ones that we are buying, by the way, are completely available to any consumer. You can buy this thing at Best Buy, relatively cheap, like I said. But it provides, some of that software provides 3D renderings of crime scenes, even vehicle collisions like the one you see here. What that will do is afford us to spend less time blocking roadways, spend less time with vehicles that are all mashed up in the roadway or preventing any sort of like a thoroughfare from being closed. So as soon as we get the 3D rendering, vehicles can be moved, nothing else. Everything else has, if you guys have ever noticed what a car accident looks like for law enforcement, it all has to be done by hand. We still measure it. We use a measuring tool and all sorts of stuff like that. So, couple of elements of the Sheriff's Office UAS program. The draft policy and almost everything that I'm telling you right now is all available on our website, Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office. We have a general order for the authorized use of the UAS. Public information and transparency, like I had already mentioned, is on there. The flight and the maintenance logs, and obviously the compliant process. So obviously any sort of aircraft that we're using, if there happens to be some sort of complaints or like that, we have a direct line that you can call. We have a direct email you can contact us, and it'll go to myself or anybody else that's in that unit. Whole lot of authorized uses, right? And just to run a couple down here: public safety and life preservation missions, locating missing persons, lost persons, search and rescue missions, the crime scene traffic collision documentation, explosive devices, pursuant to search warrants, mutual aid support, training missions, recon for tactical operations. Again, all reactive stuff. Prohibited uses, random surveillance activities with no legitimate public safety purpose, to target or harass anybody, to conduct personal business of any type, shall not be weaponized. I don't even know, I mean, aside from the military themselves, that's nothing that we're interested in. And obviously will not be in violation of our policies or the FAA regulations. And then lastly, I have Assembly Bill 481, which, because speaking of the military, considering what the drone actually is, and since it's so closely related to what the military somewhat uses, it falls under what is reportable to our government. It does fall under that, but we have had the approval already of our Board of Supervisors who backs us on it. I do, at this moment, again, it's been a privilege. Thank you for hearing me out. If there's any questions, I'd like to open it up. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? If for any reason we see a drone hovering over our backyard or our neighbor's backyard, is there a number to call? Do we just call 911 and say, what's this drone doing here?
If it's for something that we are using it for, we will definitely let you know, hey, we are in the area and there is police activity. It's kind of the same, I don't know if you've ever been in the neighborhood when you've seen a police helicopter. Super loud, right? And sometimes they will put out the announcements and say, this is the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office, this is the San Jose Police. There are PA speakers on the drones. You wouldn't be able to hear it from that distance. But yes, if you contact us, and we will be happy to say, like, yes, there's police activity.
You can always call the non-emergency line. 408-299-2311. It's on our website. This is just a way to unplug up the non-emergency line. They'll tell you if it's our drone or if it's not our drone right away.
I think maybe he meant if there's some random drone, are they allowed to fly over your property? I think there's no law against it, right?
There are some laws about that. So I think on private property, you have to have permission from the person. So if you see a drone flying over your property, you feel free to call us. Some of our guys know the law's pretty good, and they can interpret that and make contact with the people flying the drones. Other questions? One more question?
We're seeing a lot of traffic violations, people speeding 50 miles an hour and 35 mile per hour roads, routinely violating red lights. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing about traffic enforcement?
Yes, so our traffic enforcement has been seeing the high number of speeders, and we've also seen a couple collisions involving pedestrians. So fair warning to anybody in here, our traffic division is running ploys where they're running an undercover police officer across a crosswalk, and if you don't yield to that person, they will pull you over and give you a citation for not yielding to pedestrians in the crosswalk. So just fair warning, don't get upset if you get a ticket for that then, okay? But yes, we have noticed the increase, and we are stepping up our efforts to do more speeding enforcement. No other questions? Okay. I'll be in the back here for a couple minutes if anybody has any specific questions. But thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Deputy Ryan VC. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Captain Valenzuela and Deputy VC. Lots of work go into putting an event like this together, so wanted to thank, obviously, City Council for prioritizing public safety as a priority for Cupertino. Supervisor Otto Lee, thank you for your attendance. Thank you to my fellow commissioners who rock. Thank you to the amazing staff, so Martha, Meredith, and Tom, for this beautiful agenda on technology and how it weaves into safety. Thank you to all of our residents who showed up, many of who are volunteers. There's actually a question. Yes, it will be.
Yes, ma'am. The video will be available online at cupertino.org/Public Safety Forum 2023 within a week or so.
And last couple of thanks for all the folks who make this production possible. Thank you. And to all of our tablers, We are ending a little early, so please do make your rounds and visit all of the folks who are here and volunteering their time. Thanks.